Welcome to the GameChanger 00100 show. I am your host, GameChanger. Well, things have happened. Things have happened recently, and things have happened in general with the dating market. Um, and that's since I started my YouTube career and since I've come to this space. I notice a lot of things have changed as far as what the brothers are talking about and what exists now. So one of the first things I want to talk about that's changed is the outward appearance and behavior of the Black American woman. As far as just like on a street level, things are different online, but online is online. It's not a real space. In real space, I noticed that the women have become a lot more, not necessarily fit, especially amongst Black women. That hasn't really changed much, but they have become more friendly. They have worked to make themselves more approachable. I've noticed this anecdotally, and I also noticed this just talking to people in general. That in the past, say 5, 6 years, maybe even a little bit longer, and I thought it was just me because I'm getting older, and women would see me as, maybe like a older father figure or something like that, more so than somebody that's just going to holler at them and annoy them. So, but no, I've heard this from younger guys as well. That this whole I'm just going to mug you on the street just because I want to, I want to RBF every dude that I see. Starting to see less and less of that. Now, does this equate to an improvement in the overall behavior of the Black American woman? Yes, it does. However, does this increase their overall value? And the answer to that, I would say, is no. Because just because it really means that they are signaling that they want more approaches, not that they would be responsive in a positive way to those approaches. So what's happening now is a lot of women are on the dating market thinking that they're doing everything that they can, and they are confused. Now, see, I came across this video. Woman here is saying why dating sucks. I seen like 30 seconds of it and decided to share it with you. But before I do that, let me go into the short of the day. While I am lining up the short of the day, what I'm going to need from you all is to hit that like button. I would greatly appreciate that. That helps the algorithm. And it teaches the algorithm the value of my channel. Oh crap, what is this? Okay, I've seen that one already. All right, so. Okay. All right, so give me a second. Feel free to comment in the comment section, and I will respond to said comments. Salute to D. Scott. All right. Oh, crap. Why does it do that? Something's up in my mouse. All right. So let me share the screen with you all.
I'm so irritated. I am so irritated right now.
Why are you irritated?
Can you let me get it out and not cut me off, please? Like, really? Can you just let me talk and I will tell you?
Off. I'm just asking why you're irritated. You said you paused after you said you was irritated. So I asked why you was.
I never paused. And now I see that you're getting mad, so I don't even want to talk to you. I'm not going to deal with that.
I'm not mad.
Well, I feel that you're mad, and this is why I can't talk to you.
You can talk to me.
No, I clearly can't.
I was just asking why you were irritated. I didn't.
You were asking, and then you cut me off when I was trying to tell you. But now
I never cut you off.
You did cut me off, and I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I never cut you off, though.
You did cut me off, and I was trying to tell you, but now I see that you're going to get mad and cut me off, so I can't tell you anything now. It's fine.
All I asked was why you was irritated. I was trying to be supportive. I was trying to...
Well, now it is what it is. Are you going to say something? Say something.
I don't know what to say. I'm confused.
So what you're saying is I'm confusing you. So you're confused about being with me? You don't know if you want to be with me or not?
I never said that.
So what are you saying? Because you're cutting me off, getting mad, and telling me that you don't want to be with me. Now what? What else? Oh my God, I'm so irritated. I am so irritated right now.
Well, that's a fresh ale. I'm in my 40s. And of course, my friends, especially my long-term friends, are also in their 40s. Some of whom are married. And this is how they describe their life. Now, here's the thing about marriage that I've come to conclude from listening to them and stuff like that, is that it turns into complete and total crap when she's in her 40s. When she's in her 40s, and not to say that it's all sunshine and rainbows in the 20s and 30s, but there is, like, when she hits perimenopause, it hits like a sharp decline. Like it gets worse in every possible way a relationship could possibly get worse, including the following things. And this is just from talking to people and from my experience on YouTube as well, including things like dry vag, loosened vag, bedwetting, diminished sex drive, and weight gain. Now, these are all physical aspects. And I seen this when Melissa Ford was talking about her vag. These are all physical declines. In addition to that, there is an extraordinary personality shift, not in a good way. Their personality turns into cryptic behavior because their hormones are all over the place, combined with a strong desire to make you feel as badly as they do about the world. This will be your life. This will be your life. Through sickness and health, you have to deal with this sickness because you signed on the dotted line. Now, which bred the question, how did Grandpa put up with this crap? And the answer to that is side pieces. That's one answer. But another answer to it is he had the previous years to look back on fondly. So, you know, when they both reach their 40s, he can look back and say, yeah, she's dry vag, gray hairs on the pubes, you know, all that stuff that I just mentioned. But she did give me like 12 kids, and you know, she was a baddie when I was, you know, bagging groceries at the Piggly Wiggly. And she stuck with me, you know, through everything. So, you know, I can do that. That is why Grandpa did it. Now, what does this have to do? What does it have to do with the question at hand? Now women are waiting till they're like 34, 35, or, you know, or later to get married. So which means that honeymoon period, that golden era of marriage, you're not getting that. You're getting like 5 to 10 years of a honeymoon phase before everything turns into crap, which means that the majority of your marriage, the overwhelming majority of your marriage will be dry vag, low sex drive, etc., etc., etc. That would be the majority of it. There is no honeymoon phase. Those honeymoon phases she spent, you know, doing her, what do you call it? Her whole phase. She gave her best years to the streets, and she's leaving you with her worst years. That is the modern deal. Now, I want to say what's up to D. Scott again, Jalen, and Mad Max, and Snazzy. Peace to you all. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. We're going to get into it today. All right. So, now I didn't see this whole video. I wanted to have a fresh watch with you, and I'll probably do another one. All right. Look at this woman. Salute, Coach Ali. Look at this woman. Now, I don't know if she's friend or foe yet. So I'm not going to give a critique of her looks per se, but more towards her appearance. According to her appearance, it looks like she's not really taking this serious. It looks like she's on some, I woke up and I put on a jacket that I found in a vintage 80s store. And I decided to talk YouTube today. And I'm wondering if she's taking this approach to dating. But I'll give it a chance. Maybe she's on some pick-me stuff. Who knows? So let me go ahead and play this.
Comes to dating and marriage, like people are literally not even wanting to date at all. Yo, party people, it's Ashley of SingleWomenChronicles.com, where I provide a safe space for single women to heal, grow, and thrive. And today is all about how dating actually does suck.
Okay. Whenever you hear like safe space for women, this is all woke talk. I provide a safe space for women to heal and blah, 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 blah. That's all woke talk. So right off the bat, and I've heard this part already, which is why my guards are already up. So right off the bat, she's announcing herself like she's on this woke stuff. But let's give her the benefit of the doubt. Let's see where she's going.
Okay, you're not crazy, but I still want to give you ways to remain hopeful in this dating climate. I don't want to gaslight you into believing that, oh, it's hopeful. Keep going, keep doing it. I don't want to gaslight you into believing that it's just easy to do, because when you are in these singles conferences or you tell someone who's been in a relationship for a long time, they just be like, pray about it, or they stay strong. All of that don't help. You don't understand what I'm going through. Okay, so I do want to give tips at the end, but I want.
Okay. Here's the thing. It's not easy for men or women. And you're right, it doesn't help. But the truth of the matter is that the people that you are presenting your concerns to, there is no help. There's nothing that they have for you. So they just kind of throw out a blanket. Oh, well, we'll pray for you, because that's all they got. It's like you see somebody and they got the big C. And you're not a doctor, you're not an oncologist, you're not a person that can cure it. And even if you were, you still couldn't cure it. So what other words of comfort do you have? If they didn't say, I'll pray for you or what have you, they'll just be standing there with a look on their face, scratching their head like, yeah. So I'm going to barbecue this weekend if you want to come through. Like, what do you do with that when people present a problem to you that you can't really solve? And that's really what's going on. That's the response that she's getting. She feels that she can solve it. So I want to see what her solution is.
Want you to understand that you are not crazy. It is tougher, but just because it's tougher doesn't mean it's impossible. I'm going to get into why this episode is important and why I'm taking it from this angle. But before I get into it, I want to shout out to my hair. Y'all see the movement? Okay.
Wait, what?
Yeah. I finally mastered
a
DIY silk press.
I haven't seen this part yet. That was kind of random. And she said something about silk press. Let me see what that is. I'm gonna see if that's like a real thing. I mean, or is it a thing that's related to real hair? Silk press. She just gave a random shout out to her hair. What is a silk press? A style guide to sleek do. Stylists typically use silk press treatment to thoroughly smooth out hair without using excess heat. Okay, so it deals with natural hair. Okay, it does. She's gonna talk. Remember, this is for women, so she's gonna talk hair for probably like 30 seconds or so. So let's see what she does.
Okay, you heard what I said. Yes, I have mastered a DIY silk press. Do you understand how long it took me to master a DIY silk press? My silk presses used to look like I just blew my hair out and left it. Like, it was bad, but I have finally mastered the DIY silk press. I wish I could be a natural straight girly, but I love my curls too much. So no, but I do know that I can now do my silk presses at home, and I will only be going to a stylist to clip my ends, and that's it.
Okay.
And that's all. And that's just what it is. I have been natural hair, and now I know how to do the perfect DIY. I can't do nobody else's hair because I had to mastermind, because you have to understand that they just woke up with. They woke up like this. That wasn't my journey. I got pictures from the past. I done did the big chop 3 times. Damn it. I'm trying to get her to 18 inches. That is my goal. But I can talk all day about like the journey of natural hair and like the challenges and the things that I've overcome and what I've learned. What I will say, the biggest tip is understanding your hair porosity.
Holy crap.
Damage your hair. So that's why I don't tell people what I use, because it depends on your porosity. It's not going to grow your hair. It is certain. Blending it, straining it, and spraying it in my hair is great for moisture. It's great for detangling. It's great. It's low. It's gonna damage your hair. So that's one thing I will tell you. But I'm just very happy about the confidence in my hair. I've mentioned.
Holy crap! She's still talking about her damn hair. Okay, so if you don't know, I've been fast forwarding like the whole time to find out when she stopped talking about her hair. So. Like after 30 seconds in, she started talking about her damn hair, and we 4 minutes and 10 seconds in. So she's been talking about it for like 3 minutes. All right, really going on 4 minutes.
Mentioned it before. I once had an ex who would he looked me dead in my face and said, "Why your hair won't grow?" It's funny now, but it really hurt me because. Well, this is my verbally abusive ex. If you want to hear about him, I literally did an episode about him. You can go listen to it.
Why your hair won't grow is verbally abusive. First of all, okay, yeah, so she's on this woke crap. So I don't think that her advice is going to be sound, because it's the woke crap that is off-putting to men. Words like verbally abusive is woke crap. What you're doing is you're really just over exaggerating. That's a term that's used to over exaggerate stuff. It's not an argument, it's verbal abuse. It's not criticism, it's verbal abuse. Verbal abuse is a word that people who want to be abused use to describe themselves. People who aren't abused use to describe themselves using the word abuse. It means that they want to be a victim. This is a red flag. And she's been talking about her hair for 4 minutes now.
But it was hurtful because at the time I had just went natural and I was trying to learn how to grow my hair and I just didn't know how. And this was after this was right before my big chop. But my hair was typically always how to do it. But yeah, it's been a long time coming. Like as we know, Black women, we're told that we can't grow our hair often.
Dang!
We're told a certain length. And I've even helped my best friend grow her hair.
5 minutes. Oh, this woman is annoying. Okay, yes, dating sucks, and it sucks for both men and women. Being annoying as hell doesn't really help. Being woke doesn't really help. And quite frankly, well, I'm not going to say the other thing, but I think that those of you who rock with me know where I'm going to go with this. provided that she don't really like change her tune and show a decent listen. If she displayed a likable personality, or if she displays a likable personality, then I would say she's a decent woman in a bad situation. But that's not what I'm getting so far. And I haven't even like given like a physical critique. I gave an appearance on her. I gave an opinion on her appearance, not her physical. Y'all know what I mean. If you're new here, subscribe.
She'll let you know like the length. I've always told her like she needs to be kind to her hair, and your hair will grow if you learn what to do with it. And now she's learning. So it ain't just because I grew up like, no, this has been told on this, but I really don't like speaking on things I don't fully know about. I've done it in the past, but I think I'm just at the point where I'm kind of like, if it was me, would I want people speaking like that about me if you really don't know? But I do want to touch on the Megan Good and Jonathan Majors.
Holy crap. Okay.
I'm a little concerned about my girl. Again, I don't know these people. I'm only going off of what I know.
Your girl.
What we know. Okay, so when the Jonathan Majors case first came out and that white woman was chasing him down, I was on his side because I was a huge Jonathan Majors fan. Like, I watched Creed. I watch it all. Like, I loved him, and even Lovecraft Country. I only watched like the first 2 episodes of Lovecraft Country, but he was great in that. He is a very amazing actor. Like, let's keep it a buck. That man is like one of the best actors. He was on his way to like Oscar worthy. Like, he's up there. But
everything before the word "but" is BS. So we heard the BS. I really like Jonathan Majors, and he was on his way to win an Academy Award, and that's just fluff that she put in there to make what she's about to say about Megan Good and Jonathan Majors' relationship seem unbiased. But the truth of the matter is, you hated him the moment you seen that he was with the white woman. The moment you seen that, you hated him. Now, you don't want to admit it because it puts you in a category of bitter black woman. So you gave all this fluff like, oh, no, I liked them and, blah, 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 blah. That's what it's really about. Hit the like button.
After the stuff came out with that white woman,
and she identified her as that white woman. She identified her by her race.
He was on trial, and then he kept talking about the Coretta Scott King.
Yep, she's trash. Gave her the benefit of the doubt, but she's trash. A man wanting a woman to be like Coretta Scott King, basically a supportive, beautiful, and if you don't believe me, check out the pictures of Coretta back in the day, the black and whites, and supportive and understanding and faithful. Like, wanting these things makes a man a bad person. Using her as an example of what he is looking for in a relationship is a bad thing. You are bad for looking for this type of woman. That is what they are hitting him with. How dare you look for a Coretta Scott King? What are you talking about? You're saying that you shouldn't look for those qualities?
That was weird. And then, like, how
it's weird for a man to want that type of woman. So what's normal? What should a man want? Which tells me that you're not like Coretta Scott King. That's what that's telling me about you. You are not like Coretta Scott King. Because a Coretta Scott King woman wouldn't call that weird for a man to want a woman like her. All right. And you're fat. See, now that I realize I don't like you, I can say what I was thinking since I seen you. And that is, you are big. And I got the feeling that you don't know that you're big. I got the feeling that you think because you're light-skinned that you are slimmer than you are.
Quickly they became an item at the time when he was fighting the case, that was the thing that kind of was like, this is weird. Like, all of this time you've been dating this other woman and
This other woman. Mm-hmm. Well, if he's not dating her, then every woman would be an other woman. But you said it like that for a reason. And you said it like that because it's a white woman. And these women want black men to be punished for life for dating white women. They feel that if you ever date a white woman, especially if you're worth a damn, then you should never have access to a decent black woman ever in life again.
and these other types of women who were melanin deficient.
And there we go. Fellas, there's a jealous girl, za za za. I don't know the next part of that song. Let me look that up. Who did that? Bill Bivolo? Fellas. Okay, so fellas, there's your lyrics. Oh, in our town. Okay. There's a jealous girl in our town. Oh, baby. That's what she is. She's a jealous girl. All black women are jealous of white women. From the moment they born. Oh, crap. That's why they pick the dog. That's why they pick the white dog when they say who's prettier. They walk around with that crap in their head. Underneath their wig. That look like this. Like that's what they do. Because white women don't have to spend 5 minutes talking about how to make her hair look like a white woman's hair. She don't have to do that.
Now all of a sudden, when you're on trial, you're dating the white woman and flaunting her around. Honestly, I would have, it felt fake to me. I would have felt like it was more genuine if he never took their relationship public while the trial was going. Like, wow, if he all of a sudden, like this whole time he's been fighting this trial, he did it by himself in the public eye. He didn't have Megan at court. He didn't have her on these interviews, nothing like that. Literally, they popped.
Okay, I'm going to address the comment on the screen. FBA women are beautiful, in my opinion. Black queens forever, snow bunnies never. Okay, present your black queen. Present your black queen. You talking about snow bunnies when you got no bunnies. You don't have any brown bunnies. You don't have any black bunnies. You don't have any chocolate bunnies. You don't have any caramel bunnies. You have no bunnies. And you complaining about snow bunnies. So you keep on walking or hopping your bunnyless ass around through life with these concerns and tell me how this works out for you.
Popped up married like yesterday, then that would have been like, okay.
Present her. Present your wife. Hold on. Here's the link. I would like to talk to both you and your wife. You don't have to cam up. I would like to talk to both you and your wife.
That might be all right. Like, that might be real because dang, they've been dating that long and we didn't know. Like, that would have made more sense to me because to me, like, if you're fighting a trial and you're going through all of this and you know that, because they already admitted that her association to him has made her lose deals. It's made her lose out on being invited to certain places. So if you know that your partner is going to suffer for this, if you're a selfless person, I'm going to be like, no, chill. I can't have you out.
I don't know what deal she's talking about that Megan Good has lost. Megan Good has always been what's the best way? Because I really like Megan Good. Megan Good has always been consistent with where she is and the type of stuff that she does. And she's always done roles that can only be done by someone with her description, unlike Jonathan Majors. Here's what I mean by that. Megan Good has always done, and quite frankly, only done, with a couple of exceptions, movies and TV series that requires an exceptionally attractive Black woman or girl. That's what she does. That's her niche. Meaning that where Jonathan Majors, like when he does stuff like Kane the Conqueror, that role can be switched out with a white man. It can even be switched out with a non-muscular white man. Now, his role in Creed cannot, but his role in Kane the Conqueror can. You know, his role in Last Black Man in San Francisco, which is a very good movie. I know that it's local, but it's a very good movie. That can't be switched out. Megan Good, she does roles that is an attractive Black woman, exceptionally attractive Black woman, that really can't be switched out. So she has a niche, and that hasn't changed. She still continued to do Harlem. You know, she still continued in her, well, she did do that. She was on Shazam. But I haven't seen her career change since this at all.
Front like this. It makes me think about Michelle Obama when she didn't attend the inauguration. And a lot of people was like, she should have attended because blah, blah. No, she shouldn't have attended. I feel like Barack was protecting her by not letting her come, because after I listened to her book, Becoming, she talked about when she left the White House, how much she had to release and how hard she cried.
Wait, did she say, did she say she listened to her book? I'm not going to make fun of those who do. I am going to say that I am not an Audible listener. And maybe it's because of my age. But I read. And don't get me wrong, I'm not above watching a movie. I read Game of Thrones and Star Wars, and I also watch it. So I'm not above these things. I'm just saying it's something about listening to a book that really does little for me. I'd rather listen to a podcast during the worst 30 minutes to an hour of my day, which consists of me on the treadmill. That's the worst 30 minutes to an hour of my day. So, but yeah, I haven't been like a Audible book listener.
Because it is not an easy job and she won't deal with that. So I feel like you protect your partner by not allowing them to be in harm's way because of you. So I didn't really like that. I really don't like these abuse allegations. Now, at first, again, I was on Jonathan's side.
You was never on Jonathan's side. The moment you seen that he was with a white woman, you ceased to be on his side in anything. That is a lie. You are lying. But because she's about to say like until the abuse thing or something like that, she's gonna say anything but when she realized that he was messing with a white woman. So yeah, she's already on my list.
He just got a little weird to me. The Coretta Scott stuff, the
That's
obsession
not
with
weird.
that. And then
Why is it an obsession to have a type? She's getting on my nerves now. She's big with no titties. Like, so you see this rib cage area here, and you see like the gap in the shadow region that should be pressed together titties that are upper. That's not there. And it's not there because, first of all, you know, whatever she got isn't up enough, or she don't have much. So she's not tittied out, in addition to all the other stuff that is her face.
these recently released audio of him admitting to strangling the lady. And a lot of people are kind of on some like, I don't care because she's white, which is unfair.
Who in the hell would say, I don't care because she's white, unless you're a complete and total racist piece of trash? But I guess that's her circle.
There because an abusive man is just going to abuse. You can be white, purple, pink, green. He's going to abuse. Because
Not only was it sexual, in my opinion, I believe that it was sexual. Not only was it was sexual on her part. He didn't even get off on it. Well, you think a man is bad because he strangled a bitch? You know how many bitches I strangled? What the hell? Which tells me that she's going to like view the situation in the worst possible light at all times. It's not spanking, it's abuse. No, it's spanking. The reason why Jonathan Major, because he felt guilty for, you shouldn't feel guilty to surrender to your kinks with a consenting adult or surrender to someone else's kinks. That's something that doesn't get him off, but it seemed like it got her off because she was just like, yeah, he was like, yeah, but I strangled you and pushed you in the car, and she was just like, yeah, you did that. He was saying it in an apologetic tone, and she was saying it in a tone like, yes, I understand. This is what you did to me. Would you like to do it again, Daddy? That's what she was on. Bros like this don't understand that because she's fat.
because he's an abuser, right? So it's scary that she's in a relationship with a man who has abused a woman, because when a man is abusive, if he's an abuser, he's going to do it again, right? And not saying that everyone who has ever hit somebody is an abuser, but if you've done the act more than once, it kind of makes you kind of that. And this lady has said that he did. We don't know because they're keeping the court documents on the hush, but this latest audio came out, and I watched the interview with him on Sherry Shepherd, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all. So Lawrence Fishburne, his first wife, he was abusive. He was taking the Ike character a little bit too far because he was an abusive man, and he admitted it. He admitted to the abuse, and he admitted that after, I think, his divorce.
I never heard of Lawrence Fishburne admitting to that. And secondly, because broads like her use the word abuse to apply to anything, they got men actually feeling like they are guilty of abuse when they haven't abused anybody. Like, oh, this is abuse. It's abuse. You verbally abused me. Yes, I have strangled. I've spanked, and I've never abused. And the reason why y'all don't have understand stuff like that, and I'm talking to the woman here, is because they have no imagination. Of course, we either never heard of it because it never happened, or we never heard of it because it's some crap that she made up to just, or she just stretched the word abuse. Listen, there was a guy it was a guy named well, he's still alive, so I shouldn't say there was, by the name of Columbus Short. Now, those of you who don't know, Columbus Short, he's on some Chitlin Circuit stuff, but he was on that show where Kerry Washington was with the president. I forget the name of the show. Kerry Washington was with the president. She was a lawyer on the show. It was a very weird show, but I guess it was meant to appeal to women. And Columbus Short was like one of her associate lawyers or some crap like that. So, regular gig, high pay, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Olivia Pope show. Scandal. Yeah, exactly. So he was on that show, and then he got into a situation where something happened and his wife cut her finger or something. It was literally like a paper cut on her finger, and he was taken in and he got fired from his show and stuff like that. It's like they stretch stuff. They stretch stuff like to a ridiculous thing.
I don't know if it was during the marriage or afterwards, but he went to an intense therapy situation where he knew he didn't want to be an abuser no more. So now he's no longer an abuser. So he literally talked about it though. He admitted to the abuse. He said, I don't want to do this no more. And I'm going to go and get help. And now he's no longer an abuser. You haven't heard nothing about it because he's no longer abusing women, right?
I haven't heard nothing about it before.
And so I went and I Googled what? How do you know an abuser has changed? Because there is
his daughter is a damn hoe. And yeah, so that's really all I know about his personal life. That is the beginning and end of it. And I've seen it. I've seen her corn, and it seems like she got crap box. She seems like she's no fun. This is from me watching her get down. No fun, no rhythm, and no enthusiasm. And it seems like all around bad experience. In addition to his daughter being a 304. In addition to all that, she's bad at it. Unlike the girl from Family Matters, what's her name, Judy or something, the little black girl that got kicked off the show. She just went to her room and never came down, and nobody said nothing. So she grew up and did corn, and that was kind of nice. She has some skills. It made me want to partake. That's all I know about Lawrence Fishburne and his whatever. It says where they feel the need to be abusive. So, okay, apparently Black Enterprise did about abusing first wife. Oh, okay. So he did. He went to therapy for it. I don't know I would just not whoop ass. But wait a minute. Lawrence Fishburne has opened up about his path to healing after being abusive to his. Okay, so did he abuse her or did he being abusive? The acclaimed actor showed he shared therapy, help him move forward as a guest of the Jamil Hill. Okay. Listen, what they want from you is to be apologetic, is to be contrite, is so you could feel like you owe them something, and they want you to pay them. They want you to pay penis reparations. That's what they want. They want you to pay penis reparations. It's like, listen, because I was obtrusive in my past, I'm going to overlook that you are fat. Like, yes, you're fat, but I used to be obtrusive, so I apologize for that. Basically, they want you in a masochistic state. They want you to feel like, you owe them something.
Redemption. You can redeem yourself, and like, just because you're abusive on Monday doesn't mean you have to be abusive on Friday. Like, you can change, right? It's just really tough. And they say some of the signs that a man has changed is 100% accountability, and not just a man, a person, an abuser has changed. 100% accountability, 100%. 2, being very like apologetic and saying, and going.
I told y'all, I haven't seen this. I told y'all she was going there. That's what they want. They basically want you humble. Why would you be humble to a person that you didn't abuse?
And 3, going to make amends with that person who you abused. And 4, not using fantastical speech to cover up what you did. And just,
she had me on 3. When she said fantastical speech, I want to see where she's going with this. I got to see where she's going with this.
It's being 100% honest with yourself and with other people, right? So just those 4, I don't see that in Jonathan. I don't see it at all.
Because he didn't do anything that he should be apologetic for. She chased him down the street. He didn't do anything that he should be apologetic for.
No way he has made amends with this woman, because if he had,
he's according to this woman. I paused before I said woman. According to this woman, he should apologize to the woman who destroyed his career over a false claim or accusation.
That footage would have dropped. I don't believe it would have dropped. But who do we know? He was on that interview, and if we're being honest, he didn't answer none of those questions directly. Like, I get it. I'm a Christian. I love Jesus down. Follower of Christ. But
that doesn't mean anything. See, it used to be that if a person stated that I am part of such religious, I am a part of this religion, it means that they follow a set of rules that is consistent with said religion. It would be the equivalent to a woman who is doing corn saying, I am a Muslim woman. Not covered. She don't have a hijab on. In fact, she's given a hijab, to an infidel. But it doesn't mean nothing anymore when people state their religion. They're still going to do what they want to do in spite of the religious tenets.
But if you ask me what I did, I'm not going to.
And just to be clear, when she took his phone, in my opinion, and I'm no lawyer, he had every right to take it back with force. Now, he didn't, but he had every legal right to take it back with force. Just like if anybody, if you, okay, so somebody took Serena Williams, no, was it Venus? No, it was Serena Williams' purse, and she used force to take it back. So here we have a guy that got railroaded, and he should apologize to the person that railroaded him.
Put God in it. For example, did I used to be a drunkard? Yes, I did.
Holy crap.
Okay. God is.
What's a drunkard? Well, I know what it is, but that's not a word I hear too often. I used to be, well, I also don't hear fantastical, but I used to be a drunkard. I got to hear this.
Delivering me from being drunk, like from drunkenness, right? Did I used to be a sex addict? I had a whole episode about it. Yes, I did.
Oh.
So if an interviewer were to ask me, okay, Ashley, it was an interview that came out, or someone came out and said that you were drunk at a party and everyone is talking about it, and you know, how do you feel about what they're saying? My answer isn't going to be like, you know, God is good. God is
if you're saying that he was being evasive, he didn't abuse the woman. There's a whole court trial about that.
amazing, and he, you know, he did it. No, my answer is going to be yes, that is true. I have dealt with drunkenness before, and that was a really tough time in my life. And honestly, I've done a lot of things to change that. I've taken inventory of myself. I felt disgusted by it. I prayed about it. God definitely delivered me from it. But there are still days that I'm tempted. There are still days that are hard, and it sucks. It sucks, and I wish that wasn't the past, but it was. And that would be the answer. My answer wouldn't be like this philosophical speech. If you notice, he was speaking in like, he was.
Okay, when they say stuff like that, fantastical, philosophical and stuff, really what it means is that it's above their head. Kind of like if, you know, some NASA scientists were talking about the latest rocket and they get to a portion where it's above your head and you say, oh, that intellectual talk. It's like, well, you know, it's just talk. They're talking. So, you know, he's talking above her head and she's upset. And I think she's upset a lot for that reason.
Was speaking in I don't know. He was speaking in folklore. He was speaking in like this like motivational speech type. And it's like you couldn't get a direct answer. He said he couldn't say anything because of the case is going, but he did talk about like, I've changed so much. I'm such a new person.
So if you say he was being evasive, he was being evasive because it's an ongoing case. You're stupid. So basically, you're berating the guy, and you're berating the guy because he was with white women. His true crime was dating white women. But you're berating the guy for not being forthcoming on a pending case where his career is on the line. Like, well, you know, I'm a drunkard, and you know, I just say I'm a drunkard. Well, I mean, if you were on trial for, you know, a DEI where somebody was deleted, you probably wouldn't come out and say it like that, would you? Well, you would because you're an idiot. But non-idiot people don't do stuff like that.
But I don't know. It's just something that seemed very disingenuous. And when someone isn't like 100% down, say what you want about Chris Brown, okay?
Disingenuine.
But he did do a whole documentary where he admitted to what he did. He said, I did this, and yeah, I beat that woman. Like I hit.
It wasn't a pending investigation. He wasn't challenging the charge. You want a man, you're mad because a man who wasn't guilty of something didn't confess his guilt because you feel that all men who are accused are guilty. That's why you feel Jonathan Majors is guilty.
Hit her. I did. You know what I mean? So I feel like until that happens, that direct admittance, I don't know if I can trust what he's saying. And I'm scared for my girl Megan because she has said before in previous interviews that she used to be the girl who picked the bad guy. She's been in like these toxic relationships. So I feel like, is this another toxic relationship? Because he totally felt like a rebound. And this just don't seem right. And she talked about how a lot of people around her didn't like that she was in this relationship with him. I'm gonna tell you something. I've been in a relationship where a lot of people did not want me to be in it, and they were right.
So a lot of people are right. You know that guy with the mustache in Germany? A lot of people believed he was right. I mean, it's a lot of people, right? I mean, it must be true. Emmett Till, a lot of people feel that he was in the wrong or that he deserved what he got. A lot of people. Now we are getting into stupidity range. And she's on some drunk crap.
A lot of people tell you, especially like the people who really know you are like telling you, hey, maybe you shouldn't do this. You may, especially the people who you can trust, you may want to reevaluate that. That's all I'm saying. That's it. Okay, next. Let's talk about it. So this subject, I want to talk about how dating is crazy because two things happened to me this week, and I just wanted to put it together. So I listened to this sermon, but before I get into the sermon, because I got the clip in here, I had a friend send me a text, and she
I hope she's not on the Reformed Christian trash spectrum. I used to be complete and total trash, but now I listen to sermons, so I'm okay. I want you to treat me the same way you would treat Shay Sade. Shout out to Shay Sade. I want you to treat me the same way you would treat a person who has been a good Christian person their entire life. Now we are on some reform trash stuff.
She sent me this long text, and she talked about how she feels like she's not what men want. And she feels like, and it's hurtful to her when guys from her past move on and get someone else, and she's kind of left wondering, like, dang, you dogged me out, you used me up, and now you're on to the next. Like, that's unfair. And so
how is that unfair? What would be fair in that situation? That he remains single and alone for the remainder of his life?
So I text her back and was like, I understand how you feel, but at the same time, if you're being honest with yourself, you dated bums. They were bums. And the same guy that you had is the same guy that girl is going to have, a bum. And if you're being honest with yourself, you've never lost a good guy. Like, let's be real. Like, most of the men that you lost were actually a game because you no longer have to support them mentally, emotionally, and financially. Like, let's be for real. So she was like, yeah, you're right. It just sucks sometimes because I'm like, am I doing something wrong? Is it me? Et cetera, et cetera. And I know a lot of us feel like that sometimes. I went through bouts of that. I'm not there now, thankfully, because I know bruh, let me tell you something. I'm that girl. All right. If a man who was ready walked into my life right now and we were aligned in our values and in what we wanted.
Yep. I'm that girl. That pretty much sums up what's going on here. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm that girl. Okay. Let's see where she goes with this.
In a relationship and in a marriage, he's locking me down tomorrow. Like, do you understand? Like, I'm cute.
Oh,
I'm thick.
ah,
I'm funny. I'm
ah!
talented. I'm humble.
This is happening. This is happening. The God just like shines on me and sends me great material. She is completely self-aware. So I want y'all to notice that there is no desire or push to improve herself. Dating is tough. So what can I do to improve myself to give myself a better advantage? Oh, a new silk press. How about a new bench press? How about a new tummy press? How about a new everything? Like a new personality press. I'm cute. Okay, listen. Tyler is cute. Um, Haley Bailey, who kind of looks like Tyler, is cute. Let me see who else is cute. Megan Good is cute. Cute is a type of face that is associated with a innocence in beauty. That's why I said Haley Bailey, not Chloe Bailey, who would fall closer on the sexy spectrum. Even though she's cute, her sexiness surpasses her cuteness. But she is sexier. She is like her overall appeal is higher than her sisters by a small margin. And when people say a woman like her that look like her is cute, what they're saying, and I don't think many people say that, but I could see a person saying that. Oh, damn it. Okay, I'm going to address the chat room in a second. I could see a person saying that, but what they're saying in her case is that she looks like a baby because she has baby weight in her adult age. That's what they're saying. They're saying that she looks like a baby. She looks like a grown baby. Now, somebody in the chat room says, Haley Bailey looks nothing like Tyler. Tyler is a solid 9. Haley is a 7. Listen, and listen to me good. It's not about rank. You don't have to be the same number as somebody to look like somebody. If that's the numbers you want to give them, then let's just say that Haley looks like a 7 version of Tyler or vice versa. But they have similar features. They have the wide mouth. They have they have a brow ridge, which is not an unattractive appeal, and it deepens their eyes and gives a sense of higher focus. And they have a somewhat pointed nose, exact same complexion and all. What are you talking about? They look similar. Now, perhaps Tyler has attributes that puts her above Haley. And I'm not going to quit. Listen, Tyler's accent alone is enough to get a 51% erection, which means that she would look better than her twin sister from America who don't have an accent. So it's stuff like that alone. She touches on a lot of pluses. Now, I haven't seen any of her music videos yet. So, I mean, and these are things, seeing a woman dance and stuff, these are things that help. So, yeah. Yeah. Tyler has a white face too.
I am humble, but sometimes you gotta brag on yourself. Like sometimes you gotta be like, no, I'm that girl. Like, nah, for real. Like, stop playing with me. Like, no. But we're just in a dating climate, especially because I live in Atlanta. It's a little bit different. I tell people all the time, it's harder dating in a bigger city because the culture is not a settle down culture. It's a culture of like, let's turn up, get lit, and flex, and let's see who can get however many, the most money, the most women, the most this, the most. We just not in a settle down culture. But right now, the culture as a whole is just suffering. So if you feel like, dang, is it me? Am I the problem? Am I the drama? Is it like, what's going on? I want you to see not just what you're hearing in the streets with like the male and the black woman and the black man war that's going on. It's kind of dying down and I'm happy about it. But I want you to hear the real statistics, okay? I heard this.
Okay. I'm going to address what she said about it's kind of dying down. I can agree to that. And the reason being is because the rhetoric is less harsh with people like Tommy gone, with people like Obsidian gone. So it has toned down. That doesn't mean people are getting together. It just means that they really don't find you worth fighting for any longer. That's what it's really come down to. Yeah, so yeah, that's just what I said. I mean, I know you were in the process of typing it while I was saying that, but yeah. It's dying down, but it's not, it's not coming to a peaceful end.
This on a sermon, and I want you to check it out, okay? Y'all listen.
Depressing. Hear me, in 1970, 80% of Americans between the ages of 25 and 34 were married. 80%.
What the hell?
Today, that number has shrunk to 40%.
Is this what pastors are today? I remember I had a pastor, and my friend became a pastor, but I had a pastor who used to be at church with an oxygen tank. But not only is this a young dude that's a pastor, a very young dude, he also brought his, looks like high school or college Letterman jacket to preach the gospel to make himself appear younger. I scored 4 touchdowns from Polk High. He kind of brought that jacket. He bought that jacket. This is church. This is church. People, this is church. Holy crap. I'm lost for words. I did not expect this. This looks like Derek Jesus. This looks like Derek Jesus. This dude. He bought his Letterman jacket. I hope you don't do that every week. This is what church has diminished itself to. Wow.
People don't even want to get married anymore, saying, forget it. It's not worth the drama. I am good. I don't want to get married. It is a sign these stats are speaking to the cry of SOS. Then the ones that are getting married, the CDC indicates that out of 100 marriages in the U.S., 42 will end in divorce. Projections indicate that by age 40, approximately 31% of millennial women will remain single, nearly double the rate of their Generation X counterparts. This is the one that blew my mind. According to Pew Research Center, there's a declining interest in dating. People don't even want to date no more. As of 2022, 57% of single adults reported that they were not interested in seeking a committed romantic relationship or even casual dates. Y'all, SOS. Almost every dating app is reporting a decline in usage. 78% of American dating apps users feel completely fatigued and frustrated with the platforms, citing superficial interaction, emotional exhaustion, safety concerns, and also longing for authentic in-person.
Okay. It seems like the people surveyed are women, and just because he said things like safety concerns and superficial interactions, women are the ones. Men don't really use stuff like that. Well, I guess some do. Never mind. But yeah, the whole safety concerns like that. It seems like the women were surveyed. Clef low heart.
Connection. So people are still hooking up. People are still going out. They're just not getting married. They're just not really dating. And so you have a longing for deep connection, and yet people are as lonely as ever. So much so that the U.S. Surgeon General has declared that the most prevalent health issue in America today is isolation, and that loneliness is now a public health
Okay, in this clip, he basically is telling you that we are in the most trying time in history when it comes to dating and marriage. Like, people are literally not even wanting to date at all. Not just not wanting to get married, not wanting to date. They don't even want to go out to like even chance it. And that's how bad it is. So you, with your marriage-minded self, with your I want to be in a relationship self, of course it's going to be a little bit harder. Okay, so you're not crazy. Times have just changed, and there's a shift that has to happen. But there are things that
Okay. She should address why times have changed. And her past statements don't really indicate that that's where she's going with this. Yes, times change, but why? And you need to address things like, this new culture that you have. You actually, was speaking as if you are part of this new age woke culture. And maybe that is part of the reason that times have changed into this. Exactly. Who broke the social contract between black men and women? It was not black men.
you can do so you don't feel that internal emotional turmoil that comes with hearing this type of messaging all the time. So let me tell you what you can do to stay hopeful. If you know deep down inside, I still want marriage, I still want a relationship. Okay, let's do it. Thing number one, make up your mind. Make up your mind and stand on business. I think too many times when we're swayed by culture. Even the Bible says, like, a double-minded man can't be trusted. Like, they can't. Why is you?
Okay, you're swayed by culture, but you only mention the men being swayed by culture. You have expressed how you're swayed by culture on this very show. And you called yourself thick.
You swaying. I don't care what goes on in this society. I still want marriage. I don't care. I don't care what happens in my circumstances. I still want marriage. Point blank in the period. It's not going to make me shift or change my mind. When men come into my life, you're a dope guy. You're wonderful. You don't want marriage? Oh, okay. Bye, Felicia. Because that's what I want. That's my value.
It's not that simple. Men are not going to tell you that they don't want marriage. You see, women think that, rest in peace, women think that guys are going to be like Alan Roger Curry. Okay. According to women's logic, If you are a football coach that's about to do a quarterback sneak and you don't announce that you are going to do a quarterback sneak, then you are a bad person. Like, yes, I'm going to do a punt fake. You should announce that before you do it. It's like, no, there exists men who are going to think that they're interested in a serious relationship. And they might actually be interested in a serious relationship, just not with you. And they're not going to tell you that.
I'm not going to change my mind on that. Okay? So make up your mind and stand on business. Okay? Stop changing your mind every time somebody leaves your life, every time somebody dusty son disappoints you, every time somebody tell you, oh, you getting up in age, you might want to do XYZ. Shut up, Carl. You're fat. You know, you got to have the comeback.
Holy crap.
Okay?
She just called somebody fat. Okay. If you're old enough, you'll remember a show called Good Times. And they still play it in syndication on, I forget the name of the channel, but there's a TV channel that constantly plays The Cosby Show, Good Times, and Different Strokes. And there was a character on Different Strokes named Bookman. He was the handyman of the projects. And for whatever reason, he was constantly disrespected, because he wasn't doing a good job of keeping their ghetto apartment building in Chicago together. And the whole family had fat jokes for Bookman, including Florida Evans. And I'm thinking, like, does she not know she fat? And do the kids not know that they're telling fat jokes in the presence of their fat mama? Even when I was a kid, I was like, wait a minute, that's... did Florida Evans just call Bookman Buffalo Butt? Did she just... Isn't that the pot calling the kettle fat? Yeah. Somebody said they still do the Cosby Show on TV. Yes, they do, as they should. It's a great show from a great man. Bill Cosby is a genius and a very decent human being, in spite of what all these bitches got to say about him.
Okay? That's thing number one. Thing number two, watch what you are intaking. Is the only thing you listen to these podcasts that are telling you how negative all this stuff is the only thing you're listening to or seeing balloon pops? Listen, I don't watch the balloon pops because listen, I'm losing faith in humanity watching stuff like that. You're not about to allow me to lose faith in humanity because niggas is popping balloons. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Okay. I'm not doing it. Okay. So you have to learn how to feed your soul with positive things. Feed your soul with what you want, what you desire. Listen to happily married couples. Kev and Liz, Kev on stage and Liz, they're great. Tab and Chance, they're great. Listen to podcasts. Dear Future Wifey restored my hope for good men out here, because for a long time I felt like there were no good godly men who I would be attracted to until I started watching Dear Future Wifey, and I realized, wow, there is. Okay, cool. So I started watching like the episodes from like back, and like it restored my hope for good godly men who are fine and attractive. Okay, so watch what you are putting into your eye and your ear gates. Number 3. live your life, okay? Please live your life. I feel like people get hyper, especially when you age. Okay, I'm 35. I get it.
Oh,
when you start aging and getting up in
okay. I didn't know how old she was. And I wasn't even like guessing in my mind. But she says that she's 35, and it seems like she's recently come to this rationale. She's recently come to this rationale at 35. So the product that, and when she described the product that she has on her market, she just said, I'm cute, I'm thick, and blah, blah, blah. But really, she should be saying is that I'm 35. I don't know how many eggs I got left, but I've squandered. Okay, 17 years of adulthood she spent drinking and fucking. And now she's saying that I offer to you 5 years. I offer to you 5 years before I turn 40 of you trying to, inseminate my sporadic eggs. That's what she's saying before I go into perimenopause. But she still looks at herself as something of high value.
in that age and you're like, oh my God, I haven't had kids, I haven't got married, I haven't done X, Y, and Z, and I know I really want that. You kind of take a pause and think, I have to reevaluate my life. I have to make these changes. I have to do this, that. Why? Why are you so hyper focused on it? Because just honestly, the more you focus.
So you shouldn't focus on your goals. A person shouldn't be focused on their goals. So if you want to go to a top tier college and you're in high school, you shouldn't be focused on that. That's weird. Okay.
On something, the more it grows, right? So the more you focus on the lack that you have on something, the more that lack is going to grow. So stop being hyper focused on it. Focus on things you can control. Okay. Focus on your personal goal. Focus on travels. Focus on, focus on the things you want to have done by the time you are married. I know for me, I want more savings this year. I really want to be on top of my spending habits. Because I don't want my husband looking at me like, girl, you are not a good steward of our money. And I'll be like, sorry, babe. Yeah. Number 2, I already talked about my drinking, like cutting back tremendously on that. I haven't drank all year. Gave me 3. Of course, my beauty routine. Y'all see, I got my DIY silk press. I just don't want to be.
Okay. So her goals this year is, she stopped drinking this year for this whole year, which is a good thing. And it would be a great thing if it wasn't March, which is like the 3rd month of the year. So it's like, oh, great. You are 3 months sober. What's your ring size? Like, what do you do with that? She comes to you like, yes, I'm thick and I'm cute. I'm 3 months sober, but I'm a woman of God for 3 months. So you should marry me and hurry the hell up because I'm running low on eggs.
And I don't know, I've never been a mother. I've never been a wife. I don't know how that looks once you become that. But I feel like once you establish a beauty routine as a single woman and that confidence when you're single, I think it rolls over into your marriage. So I already have a strict, like a workout routine. I already have like
for 3 months. Seems like you've been working out for 3 months. You expect instant results. You expect the same results that women who have been working, who actually like Megan Good, who has been working out since she was on Eve's Bayou. you expect the same results as her, is what you're saying. Because I got a silk press.
Eating habits. I already have, my beauty routine. And so I'm just taking that into the marriage. So if you know that's stuff you need to work on, like on the outside of it, like just get ready. Like just, enjoy yourself, go travel and go do things. Like just bask in the now. I say that a lot, but really you have to like bask in the now, the right now. And number 4, like if you're not putting yourself out there at all, I need you to put yourself out there and like stop being so hyper focused on what happened in the past and focus on what can happen in the future. Like you have to let go of past results in order to embrace new things, right? So if dating apps, I don't do dating apps no more. But it's so many things. People are yearning for connection. So I don't know if y'all have noticed, but it's so many new events where people can like go outside. I just went to a coffee shop day party last weekend because people are yearning for connection.
Oh,
they have this same thing here called Hills.
Did you find your husband there? Like I went to a coffee party. Like, really? Did you find your husband there? Because what you think that you're offering a solution, but really it's not a solution because the problem is deeper than you like. But you want people to come to you for a solution to this problem, but you don't really have one. Dating events, listen, the whole dating industry, not just the dating apps, even though the dating apps is the worst specimen of this, is going to be problematic. And the reason why it's problematic is because women have the advantage. And they don't know what to do with that advantage. They're not good at having that advantage. And the reason that women have the advantage is because of hookup culture. In hookup culture, all hookup culture is men asking for sex and women determining if he's worthy of it. That's what hookup culture is. This gives the decision-making power to women. Now, how that affects dating events is that they go to these events from that empowered mindset. Like, yeah, I am empowered. You are interviewing for my pussy. Now, that doesn't really translate into long-term relationships very well. That's good for hookup culture. That's not good for long-term relationships. Men who are looking for long-term relationships aren't looking for a woman who is interviewing you. They're looking for women who are where it's mutual, where you are determining if the two of you are compatible, not if she is unilaterally determined if you are compatible, if you're worthy of her pussy. So it's really the mentality. It's a lot deeper than she can comprehend because she's not very bright. And that's why her advice is, don't focus on it, but focus on your future. That's really what she's about. She wants you to focus on your future without focusing on the present situation. She's kind of all over the place. And that's because she's only spent, 3 months of her adulthood not drunk.
For Atlanta, I'm not going to that, but that's something you can go to. It's a lot of people out there. You have to increase your encounters with men in order to get one.
That's true.
You heard what I said. You have to increase.
That's true for a woman who has no encounters with men. But really, more important than increasing the number of men that you encounter, you have to increase the quality of the encounter. And that's where many women falter. You have to increase the quality. She's talking about quantity. And once again, that's because she is looking at it from an interviewer's perspective. Because if you interview enough people, you are going to find that highly skilled person that's going to work for minimum wage. If you interview enough people, you're going to find that person, with 25 years experience, that's willing to, in a highly technical and specialized field, you're going to find that person that's willing to do that for $8 an hour if you interview thousands of people. But if you look at it as a mutual exchange, then you start to evaluate your own personality, at the same time learning to evaluate the personality of others to increase the quality of the interaction that you have. But she's more focused on quantity.
Increase your encounters with men in order to get one, okay? My dog just sneezed. He said hallelujah in that sneeze, okay? All right?
Holy
so crap. Make yourself...
So when Kevin Samuels said, buy a dog and die alone. Enough said.
Available to go to these fun events and just have fun with it. Go outside, have fun with it. But don't let the negative reality of the dating field discourage you. Okay. Now, I created this episode so you can put things into perspective, because if it does.
Okay. I'm not saying get discouraged by it, but at least have a intelligent understanding of it. And that way you can increase the quality of the interactions. First of all, you should understand that it's negative, so you don't underestimate it and you don't procrastinate. Like, this is not the dating market that you procrastinate on. Just like this isn't the job market that you procrastinate on. Like, if you're a person fresh out of high school or college, this is not the time. Maybe there was a time, maybe in the 80s or something, maybe even the 90s. Maybe there was a time where after high school or college, you say, you know something? Let me join the Peace Corps. Let me just take time out to backpack through Europe or some crap like that. Because things weren't as competitive. You can go on the interview and say, okay, so you graduated in 1985 and it's 1987. What have you been doing the last year? Oh, I've been backpacking through Europe. Nope. If you understood the modern job market, you would not backpack through Europe afterwards. You would be trying to get that internship right out of college. You would be trying to, get that job. You don't want any holes in your resume. You ain't got time to backpack and shit like that. And if you understand the modern dating market, you ain't got time to, be a sex addicted drunkard for 17 years. You ain't got time for all that crap. It's highly competitive and it's very difficult. So you should not be wasting time on stuff like that.
It does seem harder to find genuine connection and genuine relationship. You are absolutely right. It is. I'm not saying that because I want you to focus on that. No, I want you to understand that, yes, it is harder. I'm not crazy, but at the same time, it's still possible. Just because it's hard does not mean it's impossible. It's just harder than it was for our parents and our parents' parents, because
Nobody said it's impossible. But you need to, if you're going to give this advice, you need to explore the intricacies of the difficulties and how to overcome them. Not just say it's not impossible. It's not impossible for my 40-plus-year-old ass to go to the NBA. But I do understand the difficulties in doing so. And I'm a nerd, meaning that I don't play, and nor have I played basketball since the few times in elementary and junior high when I was picked to be on the team. So yeah, it's you should understand the obstacles in doing these things.
Atmosphere is changing, things are shifting, culture has shifted, but that does not mean that you cannot have somebody in your life. Okay, y'all get with me. Okay. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. Go ahead and check. Oh, Jesus. Go ahead and check out my books.
Oh,
How to X Your Ex, A Guide to Getting Past Unhealthy Relationships, Get Unstuck When Life Sucks, as well as my fiction novel called Single Woman Chronicles and Atlanta Love Story. Kinda, it's basically like Insecure in a book. I wrote it first.
How to X Your Ex. So while teaching women how to get into a relationship, you're also teaching them how to and encouraging them how to get out of one. This is spectacular.
So I didn't steal nothing from my girl East. I love me some ECs. But yeah, till next time, y'all. Bye.
Well, all right. That happened, and that can never not happen. Anything's possible, but it's highly improbable. Highly, highly improbable. All right, so I seen this. I seen the beginning of this in TikTok. I clicked it because she's cute and actual cute, not whatever the fuck this other woman was talking about, and she's married, so I want to see where she's going with this, but I haven't seen it yet.
What I meant why modern men are not dating anymore. Besides the economic struggle a lot of us face, modern dating has turned into a free-for-all, at least in the social media space, because we cannot negate that media and social media doesn't have effect on our psyche and how we see day-to-day life. When I said back in the day people didn't date, what I mean is prior to 1960, the sexual revolution, people did not date around the way we date now. They courted with the intent of marriage. Now, was every single
You don't have to apologize to single mothers. Listen, just because a person can't take critique, that doesn't mean that you are wrong for giving it. It doesn't. You didn't critique grape them. No, if you have, if you, I don't know what you said in your previous video, but if it was something along the lines of single mothers at some point likely made a bad decision to get that outcome, then that's something that I would agree with.
person following that? No. But the way we date now, how it's a free-for-all, how people do sleep together during the dating phase, that was not socially acceptable. That was just not normal. Were people doing it? Yes, but it was not normal. And if a woman happened to get pregnant, they would get married, because socially it was not okay for people to have premarital sex, have kids out of wedlock, and that be a-okay for everybody. That just was not a thing. So prior to the 1960s, people courted in order to decipher if somebody was prepared for marriage or decided if they wanted to marry that person. So my perception would
I'm starting to think that there's a correlation between hotness and intelligence. I'm starting to think that there's a correlation between hotness and intelligence. This woman, and I've just listened to her for a minute and 30 seconds, but this woman is significantly hotter than the last woman that I just displayed, and she's significantly more intelligent. And I know the whole trope is that attractive women are bimbos and stuff like that. Probably, I think the belief is that no one ever really challenges them because they're too busy trying to sleep with them, like on some Kelly Bundy stuff. But in my experience, attractive women seem to be a little bit brighter, which makes sense because unattractive women don't really seem smart enough to realize that they're unattractive. So, yeah, just food for thought.
modern dating has turned into, at least from my viewpoint as a married woman, is turned into, you can't take me to chain restaurants. How much money has he spent on me? Now, is this every woman? No, but these are the loud voices that are representing Black women. regardless of how we operate as individuals, the way we are showcased to the world is the perception of Black women.
She's
It's the
killing it.
perception of Gen Z and the younger generation.
She's
So
killing
if
it.
we don't want these perceptions out there, then we as women have to take responsibility and control of what the narrative is. And that's the point of a lot of my content. Another thing, the reason why a lot of men are not dating is because there is no incentive to date nowadays. Before the sexual revolution, women did not
Okay,
share their
she's losing me.
bodies the way women share their bodies now. To
She's
each
that
their
is
own
the
is your
incentive
personal
today.
business who you
Okay,
give your
okay, she's losing me. So before she goes down this path where she's going, and that is, we are not motivated to date because, and it seems like she's going to go into this whole buy the cow, get the milk for free type deal. And I don't want to disagree with her too hard because I like her so far. Press 1 in the chat room if a vision of her and Shay Sade and maybe even Bella Rings getting together and knitting came to your brain. I know my brain is unique, but I'm curious of how unique. Like when she was talking with the wedding ring and the church and the God and stuff like that, did you picture like her, Shay Sade, and Bella Rings just sitting in a circle knitting? What do people knit? I don't know what they knit, but they were knitting. Okay, somebody said 2, so I'm the only one that thought that. Okay, so I'm alone in that. And it's not a fantasy. These are all married women. It's not a fantasy. It's just like this wholesome knitting image that she fit into with the other aforementioned women. Women don't knit no more. Or I wonder if they knit. I'm going to ask Sade if she knits. All right. Moving forward.
your body to, that is your choice. However, if we do not give men incentives to want to go through the dating process, to court you, to marry you, because we're giving them all the incentives of marriage in the dating phase, they are not going to want to marry. Does that make sense?
No.
It's like telling,
because it's not an incentive, it's an ultimatum. It's an offer or it's an exchange. It's not really an incentive. What you're saying is that if we don't say, it's really more of a requirement that you're putting on your box. And you're saying that if we don't say no sex before marriage, then they're not going to marry us, because men don't marry women that they already had sex with, except they do. Now, I'm not knocking her for having this stance, this celibacy until marriage stance. I'm not really against that, but don't think that that's a solution to the problem, because it's not. And what you wind up getting is a bunch of women, like the woman in the previous video, hit the like button, who went out talking about, I was a sex addict, but now I'm a born again Christian, and you gotta wait. Like the other guys didn't have to wait, but you do. So you put people in that scenario, which is, yeah, sex should not be the only thing that motivates a man to get married. But he has to, and this is talking about from a non-sexual perspective, he has to know what he is marrying. Meaning, like, if you're a good woman, if you cook, clean, and you have like feminine tendencies, what are you going to do? Withhold those things until you're married? Because, and I get where you're going with this, and it obviously has worked for you, but you're not considering your audience, and your audience is looking for ways to game the system. And that is a way to game the system. They want to have their penis and suck it too. And yeah. So basically, when women say stuff like take me at my worst and deserve me at my best, or I'm not going to do anything until after marriage and stuff like that. I mean, I'm going to be a completely obnoxious, belligerent person, and I'm going to put on weight. But after we get married, I just take my word on it. I promise I'm going to be a better person. The reason why I throw eggs at you is because the price of eggs are expensive, and I want to show you that I got it like that. But furthermore, it's because you haven't married me yet. Once you marry me, I'm going to stop snatching your dreads out. Come on now. What she said was said with the good intentions, but her audience, being modern women, don't have good intentions. So it can be manipulated.
Somebody, you don't need a driver's license to drive a car. Here's a car, here are the keys, here's some insurance, you're good to go, no worries.
Sweetie, you don't need a driver's license to drive a car. It's called a learner's permit. You do actually drive, I think it's like 6 hours. You do actually drive a car before you have a license. Just like you test drive a car before you buy it. So yeah, that thing that you get, and you have to have an adult, a licensed adult that's 25 years or older before you actually go to the test. That's how that works. Bad analogy.
Then that person would never go back and get a driver's license.
Huh?
We get driver's licenses so we have access to drive vehicles. So if women are giving away all the incentives in the dating phase for men to want to date seriously and want to marry, then why would...
Okay, if you think sex is all of the incentives, why is she so cute? Oh crap. I want to like her. I really want to like her. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Would men date? And yes, is this everybody? No, it's not everybody, but majority it is, because regardless, people are saying that now the younger society isn't sleeping around. I have been in these schools. I have homegirls who are counselors in these schools. I'm talking to the youth. I don't know where they got those stats from or where they took that poll. And of course, teens aren't going to tell adults the truth if they're fornicating. Like, come on, y'all. Like, that's not going anywhere. And because it's so socially acceptable, and because we've had so much free for...
I like that she calls it fornicating, but what she's doing is she's comparing the sexual activity amongst teenagers between now and the time that she was before she was born. She's comparing, like look at how active they are in the 60s versus today, or in the 50s, whenever the golden era of piety existed. And she sees an increase. But what she's not doing is she's not comparing it to today from the 90s or the 80s. Like, they're actually having less. Guys are reporting that both guys and girls under 30 are reporting that they have had not had sex in a year or some crap like that. Now, if you compare that to, when Freaknik was actually a thing, you would see that that's a significant drop. Now, after the drop, it's not like after the drop, people started marrying again. What we're living in, or I should say what young people are living in now, is a hookup culture without the hookup. If that makes any sense or whatsoever. This is a hookup culture without the hookup. Which is terrible. So, but which also give credence to, that's not solving the problem now, is it? I mean, your thing is that if women close the box, men will bend the knee. But women have closed the box and men still haven't bent the knee. And that should be your understanding of the problem before you come up with a solution. Men should listen. Men should not, nor should women want a man to marry for sexual access. When you look back and say, why did I get married? Well, it was the only way I could get that box. Is that the type of husband you want? You know, is that the reason, really? Is that what you want for the future? Is, men marrying so they can get access to box? All right, Tony Miss has something to say. Let me thanks for the super chat. He says, if chaste virgins were common, men would marry them. Well, if anything was common, then the amount of people married, kind of like if left-handed people were more common, then it'll be more left-handed people getting married. But I'm just saying that a man's motivation to marry a woman should not be sexual access. It should not be, you married a woman because that's the only way to quench your thirst. That's a pathetic. That's a pathetic man, and to do that. To be perfectly frank.
For all in free range with our bodies, we now have an influx of single parent households, regardless of whose fault it is. I'm not blaming women for all of these single parent households. However, we have autonomy over who.
Okay. I'm starting to like her less. As cute as she is, I'm starting to like her less. And I do mind the innocence and the naivete of someone who married obviously young, and reasonably successfully. So which means that she hasn't really spent much time in the field to have a perception of it. So I am taking that into account. But the way that she's putting all of this on sexual promiscuity is a byproduct. It's not the cause. Charles says that she's full of shit. Okay, yes, but I'm still going to put it under the umbrella of, or file it in the folder of, she just don't know any better. She's not being malicious in it.
We give our bodies to and whose children we bear. And even if that wasn't your intentions, right? Because again, I'm not blaming. Every single woman's circumstance is different.
Yeah, true, but the majority of, I mean, you cannot, these women are not innocent. These women are not innocent. And they do deserve criticism.
But we have to start telling these young women, regardless of whose fault it is, the responsibility 9 times out
Okay.
of 10 falls on the woman.
There we go. Okay.
I don't know
We're
about
back.
y'all, but I know way more single mothers
We're back. We're back into normal realm.
in real life than single fathers. Do they exist? Yes, but those are like 2% versus the women who day in, day out have to take care of their kids majority by themselves. So this is not a single mom bashing shame. What I'm saying is, for the young ladies who do not have children yet, it is not wise for you to give a man a child, move in with him, give him your body in the dating phase. Because if you do want to get married, there will come a point where you're going to get tired of that lifestyle. And if you've already signed up for that lifestyle, a lot of men will just keep you there because that's the life that they've signed up for.
Okay, but they're not there. What she's talking about is like a perpetual girlfriend stage where, you know, he's just pumping her for 20 years and they're never getting married. Those are rare. Those situations are more rare than actual married women like yourself. This is not commonplace. What's commonplace is women going from penis to penis, you know, which has nothing to do with the men, you know, who is taking advantage of her desire to get married and just stringing her along for decades. You know, that's a straw man situation that you've created, you know, where that happens. That's not commonplace. You're not meeting these women who are, I mean, yes, there is a longer vetting period, but that's because, you know, what marriage is isn't what it was, meaning that men have to vet longer, and we have to vet longer because there's more in stake. Women divorce men now and they take half their shit. So yeah, you know, there's going to be that. But people who are doing it indefinitely, just, you know, keeping women on rotation for decades, that's not happening to the extent that that should be the that it threatens modern relationships. There's something else going on, and that is women are not getting with men and vice versa. Not even on a sexual level. Okay, so Tony Miss says again, to follow up on his super chat, he says, cultures all across the world, all across history, have drawn the conclusion that women should not share their sexuality without commitment. I agree. Everyone can't be wrong, even the evolutionary biologists. I don't know how they would come to that conclusion, because that's really more of a social construct. And evolutionary biologists really focus on all species and only one of which gets married. So I'm going to ignore that last part, but I am going to say that, yes, society is built on marriage, but it's not built on men getting with women for want of pussy. That's what it's not built on. Julius Caesar didn't marry whoever the fuck it was because he wanted her pussy. And so on and so forth. Like it's not that. I don't see any, like I said before, I don't see anything wrong with having a social construct that works, that's based on commitment. What I am saying is that social contracts have been broken significantly, and this is what's left. This is what remains. You know, a culture of distrust and unwillingness to merge as a result of that. See, for example, in the book and TV series of Game of Thrones, what's his name? Eddard Stark, the one in the Red Wedding. He had a contract. Now, he didn't do it for her pussy. He had a contract with Walder Frey saying, like, listen, I'll marry one of your daughters. You give me an army, you give me access, you help me win this war, and I'll marry one of your daughters. but Brenda got a big old butt. It's like, whoa, you broke a social contract. That's not a small thing. You can't just go around saying that you're gonna marry somebody's daughter and not do that. You know, like once you start breaking social contracts, then everything is chaotic. You know, like Walter Frey, he broke a social contract too. He, you know, because there's something called guest rights, meaning that you're not supposed to commit violence on your guests, you know, unsuspectedly. You know, it's this whole taboo thing. So people could say he broke a social contract, but it's like, listen, I'm not going to honor a social contract with somebody who doesn't honor their social contracts. So there was a breakdown in social contracts, and that is where we're at today. It's this whole breakdown. We can get it back. We can get it back, but you know, what's going on, Melody? By the way, for those of you who don't know, Sweet Melody Media just had a birthday. So happy birthday to her. So we can go back to that. And if that's the social contract that they want to make, then that's perfectly fine. But it's not the reason that, like, that's just a symptom of it. That's a symptom of what we have now is or the sex before marriage thing is a symptom of a broken social structure. It's not the cause of it. So that's where you and I are in disagreement. It's a byproduct of a broken social contract. It is not the cause of it. And it's not the direct solution. The direct solution would be a new social contract. And if in that social contract, it consists of things like, okay, I will marry you if you remain a virgin. I will marry you sooner. However, you must negate your rights to divorce. Then, you know, then we would be onto something.
If they wanted to marry, they would have married first. But women are the gatekeepers to that. So I'm not trying to shame or blame women. What my intention was is to give women their power back and say, hey, if you want men to start dating as a collective.
Okay, she's no longer cute. The moment she said give women their power back, she's under the impression that her power comes from her pussy. Yeah, I mean, of course, she's physically still cute. I can't change that. But my perception, she's no longer belongs in the knitting circle with Shay Sade and Bella Rings.
We have to do things differently, because if there's only 5 of us that are being exclusive and majority are out there just giving it away like hotcakes.
Yeah, there she goes. What she's describing is collective pussy bargaining. She's like, okay, I want to make men thirsty, but I can't do it just by closing my box. I got to close all the boxes. Damn, being better women, better wives, better mothers, you know, offering a sense of security in marriage. Damn all of that. I need all of you to close your box simultaneously, and then men will be forced to marry your box, is what she's on right now. Holy crap. Yeah. She even looks worse now. This sucks. She sucks.
You're going to have a harder time. So it's not about shaming. It's about being a realist of saying what is going on in the dating world. We can't just blame men for everything.
See, here is the fundamental theorem. Just like there's a fundamental theorem of calculus. There is a fundamental theorem of black women. And that theorem is black women cannot seduce men that are not thirsty. I'm going to repeat that. Black women cannot seduce men who are not thirsty. I'm going to say it one more time. Black women cannot seduce men that are not thirsty. Which would be the equivalent, which is an extraordinary handicap. It would be the equivalent to telling a salesman that you cannot sell a product that a person isn't already addicted to. Meaning that the only thing you can sell is crack to crackheads. Which is why you are a crack dealer. It's ridiculous. If you women cannot seduce men who are not thirsty, that is going to be an extraordinary hindrance in life. Okay. Do I want to ask this, bro? Do I want to ask this woman? Listen. Can you seduce men that are not thirsty? Do you have any advice on how to seduce men who are not thirsty? Because other women, including Coretta Scott King, are capable of doing this thing. Like when you hear about, these conquerors and rulers and stuff that has 15,000 concubines and one wife. That one wife knew how to seduce the man who wasn't thirsty. Try doing that. And stop trying to, step 1, make men thirsty. Step 2, offer him water in exchange for a wedding ring. Step 3, make him thirsty. Step 4, offer him water in exchange for lifetime of slavery. Because it doesn't end there. Like, once you obey your thirst and marry a broad because she leveraged the box on you, she's going to pull that crap throughout the entire marriage. Like, oh, I want to watch Tyler Perry Medea sucks a dick. Like, well, I want to watch the game. Okay. You're going to learn, if you want this box, that I control this remote. She going to sneeze and he don't say bless you. Oh, okay. You're going to learn to say bless you every time I sneeze.
If we are not forced, there has to be some, I know we don't like this word, but accountability and a responsibility on what part we play. When I was single and I was operating in the world how I wanted to operate, I had to realize there's something that I'm doing wrong to get the results that I'm getting. So when I changed up how I was moving, and I share my story, go look at my page.
I don't want to do that.
Then I got different results and I was able to meet a man, a God-fearing man who wanted to marry me, but I had to change my ways first. We cannot operate.
I hope that she wasn't a thought. I hope he didn't marry Reformed thought that I hope that he didn't marry a Reformed thought because she leveraged the box. See, this is why church is full of single women and no single men, because it's not worth it to go to a reform to go to a place to get a Reformed thought. I used to be a sinner, but now I'm a winner. And it's because of Jesus. Jesus has shown me the light, and that light is to not fuck you. Like, wait, what?
operate in the world how we want and then get mad at men when we don't get the results that we want. We can make excuses. There are 1,000 different ways to become a single parent, right? But we don't say the same thing as driving in a car without a seatbelt. Yes, you can get into a car accident, but driving a car with a seatbelt is probably going to protect you than not driving in a car without a seatbelt. So when we tell women we should just do whatever we want to do, we're telling them go drive your car without a seatbelt.
Agreed.
Because at the end of the day, it only affects the women. It doesn't affect men in the same way. Are a lot of men wrong? Yes. Are a lot of men shady? Yes. There are shady women as well. But I have to protect the girls because the guys are going to do what the guys are going to do. I want our women to take their power back and say, you know what? I want to move different. I want different results. And until we as a collective say, these are not going to be our representations. These are not going to be the girls that represent us. This is not going to be okay. We're not giving our time and our attention to this. We're not going to sign up for these roles that we do not want. Then nothing will change. So if I hurt anybody's feelings or made somebody mad in the first video, I do apologize. That was not my intention. But my intention still stands that if women do not hold a different standard for themselves, again, not shaming, this is your life, your body, your consequences, but it's always harder on the woman. So if we want different results, we have to move different in order to get different results. If we keep moving the way we're moving, nothing's going to change.
Why does she look familiar? This is not the time to get pregnant. Okay, she's picking up men based on zodiac signs. Okay. At least it seems like she agreed with me on that. As any racist. Okay, what is she talking about here?
This is why we're in last place. We will have children, go to college, get a whole bunch of debt, start careers, build homes, do all of this other stuff before we're 25. But we won't get married before we're 25. Now, if you're saying, hey, I don't want to get married before my brain is fully developed, I don't think that that's wise, then hold off on doing a whole bunch of other stuff. Hold off on having children. Hold off on starting a business. Hold off on starting a career because you're not ready yet. This is why we're last, because we don't know the fundamentals of marriage. The only reason why you even think this is because social media told you that our brains don't develop until we're 25.
Oh, she killing it here.
But you can join the military, you can own a pew-pew, you can do everything else. You can drink, you can have as many kids from 18 to 25 as you can. But we stop at marriage. Our hard stop is always marriage. And no, this wasn't my video, and yes, I responded to this because that's why we are last. That's why
she killed it
in last place.
She killed it, yeah.
Because we don't understand how beneficial marriage is if you're ready to do certain things. Because you're doing everything else. We do everything else before 25. But marriage is where we draw the line. We can hump and dump babies. We can unalive babies. We can do a whole bunch of stuff before 25. But marriage is when we say, oh, that's dumb. Why we're last. This is why.
Okay, so I agree with that message. Like she was spot on with that. You know, I'm not with her marriage. What's that? Leveraging the box shit. But yeah. Do I give it a thumbs up? Give me some thumbs up.
And maybe I'll give her a thumb up on that video. Then we're going to move along. All right, hold on 1 second. Watch that later. Okay, I haven't seen this one before either, but this is going to be the last thing I'll show today.
30s and you're realizing that you want a family, you want a partner, but the dating scene is understand what mistakes you might be making and how to fix those so you actually can call it love in your 30s.
And if you don't know, I'm Matt.
And I'm Kelly.
And we are women helping them to go from single to being in a relationship. We've learned what is it that works and what is it that doesn't.
So let's talk about the problem first, and then we'll get to the solutions. So the problem with dating in your 30s is that there can be a lot of pressure, internal pressure, but also external pressure. Right? The internal pressures of scarcity, right? A lot of men aren't married, or the type of men you want aren't available. And then there can be a fear that as you get older, you also get less so conditioned to.
Okay. Testing. Can y'all hear me? No, it's not just you, Yellow Knight. I don't know, something happened, but can y'all hear me? Testing. Okay, somebody said we good. All right, so we're back. Let me go back to what they were talking about. Salute to Gail, salute to Theo. All right, I'm going to go back a bit.
Is it that works and what is it that doesn't?
So let's talk about the problem first, and then we'll get to the solutions. So the problem with dating in your being aware of your age, wanting to find a good man, but feeling that there's scarcity, right? A lot of men aren't married, or the type of men you want aren't available. And then there can be a fear that as you get older, you also get less attracted to the type of men that you desire. And in the culture that we live in, as women, we're so conditioned to focus on career and be successful. The time that's work.
Okay. Right off the bat, I want to say that they're confusing legitimate concerns with pressure. I mean, pressure makes diamonds. You're supposed to be under pressure. Pressure is what makes people perform at their top. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. And fertility and things like that, these are legitimate concerns. These are legitimate biological concerns that you should act on. So if they're trying to stifle a woman's sense of urgency, I can't say I could get down with that message. Hit the like button.
our 20s were dedicated to. So many women, and I can include myself in this, towards our later 20s have the realization of wanting love, wanting kids, wanting marriage. And then you're stuck in this issue of having your relationship. And then all of a sudden, this pressure builds up from all these issues that I already stated.
And then there are the external pressures. Maybe you're at a family function and your family are asking you, like, when are you going to settle down? When are you going to have kids? And that can create this sense of shame within you, or reveal the shame that is already there from this implied idea that there is something wrong with where you currently are in your life right now.
We've had so many women come to us for coaching who are confused because they open up Instagram or TikTok and they see all this conflicting advice about dating and relationships, right? Some people are saying raise your standards and don't settle. And then others are saying your standards are too high. You need to be realistic. So whose advice do you take? And really the stance that we take is that it's great to find a balance between the two, where you're not
I agree
settling
with
and
that.
you're getting what you want and you're being realistic. So let's dive into the solutions that we have for you for dating in your 30s and how to call in a relationship that you desire.
So in this video, there are 5 things that we're going to be breaking down, starting off with the number 1.
Number 1 is to get clear on your non-negotiables while also being flexible with your preferences. So inside our course for single
I get
women,
with
we
that.
teach them how to get clear on 9 non-negotiables. So these are the things that you do not set.
So far, I agree with a lot of what they're saying. I mean, I do feel that the women should feel the pressure, but they're working under the understanding that they already do feel the pressure, and that people shouldn't just continue to press on with it.
Settle on things like values and where you are in your life. If you both want kids, there's many different aspects we talk about, from compatibility and chemistry and more. So non-negotiables are important, and we get our top 9. And then anything else, those are preferences. So what this means is that maybe they're willing to go on with someone that they might not have normally in the past. And I just want to give you an example of a woman who did this and it worked out really well for her. And she actually went on a date with a man, right? And she had a preference, and she thought that a man having hair or a certain type of hair equaled being attracted to him. But because we gave her the homework, and she was resistant to taking on the homework at first, but she took it on, and she went on a date with this man and continuing to date.
Okay. I slightly agree and disagree with what they suggested to that. And the main disagreements that I have is you're wasting a man's time. I don't want to go out with a woman who is doing an experiment. You're wasting the time. Like, if I'm not bald, but if I were bald, you know, I'm not going to go out with a woman who's like, I don't want to date a bald guy, but my dating coach told me to give you a shot. So here I am spending your money on food, seeing if you are going to change my mind about bald men. Yeah.
Getting into a relationship and they are engaged now. So this is just one example of so many. You have a woman being willing to
Okay, it's buffering. So I'm going to let that happen for a second. Let's see what y'all have to say in the comment. Theo says, my late wife didn't want bald man. I was bald on our wedding day. Yeah, but did she do it? Did she do that because somebody told her to and as an experiment? Because it's strongly unlikely to work under those circumstances. And that's what I mean when I say it's a potential waste of time. Okay, it's not buffering anymore.
And doesn't determine how the thousands, hundreds of thousands of men are around you. So the way that we like to teach it is that
Okay, I am not liking these two. They do not have any respect or regard for a man's time. Telling women you need to go out on 1,000 dates and maybe you'll find somebody is not a message I can get behind. And that's because I respect my time too much and I respect men's time too much. I know they're talking to women and men's concerns isn't really their concern here, but you're basically saying you should waste 999 people's time in order to find one person. So that goes back to the bald thing. I kind of was, suspicious when he said that, and when they said that, and now it's like, okay, so they genuinely don't have respect for a man's time.
let's say that you go to a restaurant and you have a terrible experience. That doesn't mean that every single restaurant is going to be the same way as that one restaurant experience. And the same thing happens when women tend to have love, right? And the same thing happens when you are dating. So that is number 2.
Number 3 is to create openings. So sometimes when women are dating and they want to be in their feminine energy, they misunderstand what that actually means. And they think that that means that the man's supposed to do all the work, the man's supposed to come up to you, the man's supposed to fully pursue you. And there is truth in that, but there's an important nuance that is missing, that when women miss this piece, then they also tend to block themselves off from connections with men that they might have had otherwise. So that's where we get to number 3, which is to create openings. So if you want a man to pursue you, you get to create the opening that he can respond to.
I agree with
that. So something we talk about with masculine and feminine energy is
I agree with that.
that the feminine invites and attracts, and the masculine guides and leads. So if we look at the feminine inviting and attracting, that's basically all an opening is. You're inviting him into maybe a conversation you want to meet. So how you can create an opening really simple can be just to make eye contact with a guy that you find cute, who you'd like to approach you. Or even starting a conversation.
So what she's talking about is choosing
for example,
signals.
when I was dating before I met Matt, I was in the practice of creating openings. I wasn't asking him on a date.
That's not a subtle
I wasn't
opening.
being super forward. All I said was like, "Hey, I love what you're doing. I see." And then I ended up asking on a date. So that opening is a great example of how I just invited him, and then he responded, pursued me.
The perspective of I want you to take into consideration how challenging it can be for a man to walk up to another woman, because there is the rejection that could happen. There is also, if you are with your friends and other women, he has to not only go up to you, but also potentially being rejected, not just by you, but also being seen by all the people that you're around. So it's the smile, like really get the context around how show.
Okay, so they're kind of hit or miss on this. One thing I'd say is respect the man's time, but yeah, somebody in the chat room saying that he works 60 hours a week. Yeah, I mean, don't be wasting brother's time. Like this whole numbers game thing, you want to focus on having quality interactions, not quantity of interactions. Maybe that's just me.
Giving a man a compliment or starting a conversation, right? Asking a man's opinion, asking for his help with something. How you can create an opening.
Number 4, to understand what men desire in a woman. When we're working with women,
I agree with that one.
Patterns of what women generally want in wants to have commitment.
So something that has integrity, that she feels safe around him, that she feels protected, like that.
And just like Way wants, men tend to have their preferences of what they want in a woman. So understanding what is it that men tend to want that has them to commit to a woman can mean a difference between being in a relationship in your 30s and then not being in a relationship in your 30s. So let me break it down. So number one is ease. So what does this mean? The best thing about the relationship with that
Okay, so it's buffering out. But they are on point with a lot of things, and with some things they can do a little bit better. The main thing is respecting men's time, but outside of that, and because they're talking to women about men, really, I could see, like, they're gonna miss the mark on that. That's not the end all be all. But so far so good. Let me play some more.
something going on for her. So I never have to guess if there is anything that she's holding in. She will share that with me. And you doing that with a man can mean the difference, right? Because a lot of men tend to have these complaints around, oh, I just don't know what's going on. I feel like I have to solve a puzzle. So doing that is so expressive. Is it that's not for you? A specific way that we love to teach. That's another whole other video. But being able to share, what are your needs? What are your boundaries? What's going on for you? If there's something that's bothering you, being able to bring that up allows the relationship to feel easy for him.
Right. And not in a feminine, soft-hearted, personally responsible way, which is exactly what we teach.
And number one is linked to number win. It in every to understanding that you want to be able to get him to win with you. The way that you do that is by giving him the blueprint around your needs. So this is exactly what it is that I need, and this is how much I need it, and this is also the way that I love to receive. So, for example,
explaining that this is the way I like to receive it. It's funny the way that sound, but you get the meaning. Somebody say, is she even wearing makeup? I don't know. I will say that as far as physical appearance, I would say that they're like equally, pretty versus handsome. But I do strongly suspect that her looks are going to fade faster than his. And that's just because of the race dynamic, not anything else.
through the different love languages. If you don't know what they are, I won't go into every single one, but one of them is quality time. Quality time means something completely different. We had to come about that. It made me actually move like that's quality time because it reminds me of me growing up with my family. But Kelly, that's quality time. Quality time means one of them is be able to sit down, have a conversation, and that's quality time for her. So now that I understood that, I now knew how I could win with her.
And it's important to note that men feel like they're winning with you when you express appreciation for things that they've done, right? So women
I'm buffering a lot, so this is definitely going to be the last one that I'm doing. But he mentioned status. I want to see where he's going with this, and I really want to. I hope that he's not going where I think he is, and that is where they say a woman's status is important, because that's going to just encourage women to not focus on relationship, but focus on building their status, thinking that this is what's going to attract a man. I mean, if it's serious, it's very low on the totem pole of what's serious and not serious.
It's more about what not to do that we see that has a man not
Okay, so what he was saying, in case it was buffering then, he was saying if you're constantly criticizing and comparing him, not wanting to be browbeaten isn't really a status thing. That's just a I don't want to be with an obnoxious bitch thing.
of your his life with you or not. Because if he, in his mind,
all right, it's gonna keep buffering. So I'm gonna close down. I'm gonna read some comments, then I'm gonna close down. It's I'm not gonna finish the last 3 minutes of this. It's gonna keep buffering. So here's what it is. Let's see what you have to say. People always talk about quality time, but never mention quantity time. Expand on that. Because I think in relationships, people say, I want to spend more time with you. They do say stuff like that. Nanda, salute to you. I think most men have approached women by themselves and as a part of groups. Absolutely. But I get what they were saying. What they're saying is make it easy. Like, if you want this to happen, make it easy. See, women feel that there's this whole do nothing. He should do everything arrangement. Like, not only should he approach me, I should make that approach as difficult as possible. I should not, which is not going to really fly because most men, smart men, all things equal, they're going to approach the one who is given the most choosing signals, who is the most welcome, who seem like she would be the most receptive to the approach, all things reasonably equal. Meaning that if she is a 7, but you have a 6 that's showing, that makes it appear that she's going to be more inviting, then a guy's going to approach the 6 first. I mean, by the logic, if you're in a setting where there's only 1 9, then every man is just going to approach that 9 if none of the women are giving signals. So I see where they're going with that. All right, let's see what else. A young Becky is the last person to take advice from. I don't know. I don't think a young married Becky would be the last person to take advice from. Like, what about that Soraya Brooks woman, that German woman, or that Middle Eastern woman? Especially one getting pimped, getting piped, a light skin nigga with tattoo. Okay. What do you have against Becky? What do you have against light skinned dudes and tattoo? You have a lot of I don't like ... There's a lot of dots in that ellipsis. There's a lot of I don't like light skin niggas. I don't like tattoos, and I don't like Becky. Like, what's up with that? Okay. I'm lucky if I get 8 hours of sleep. Well, I mean, it's definitely why men are discouraged to date, And also, by that date 1,000 guys thing, the whole logic is like, what if the first guy you meet, you click with? And then she's like, well, I still got to see what these other 999 guys are talking about. So that's to wait until that is just all around bad advice. Nah, I was her best choice, and she was curious about black men. Was she Japanese? I remember, I think you say your first wife was Japanese or something like that. Yeah, my condolences too, brother. But it is true that eating at a restaurant is more expensive than eating at home. Yeah, absolutely. I went to a taqueria just yesterday. No, the day before yesterday, and it was $15. Three tacos and rice and beans, which I could make at home for a lot less. All right, but it is true that I already read that one. Let's see. I agree. Going on 1,000 dates does it confuses women. And I know they're exaggerating when they say 1,000, but going on too many dates is going to. And I'm not even talking about having sex with all the guys or any of the guys. It does it does set your criteria to be an amalgamation of the number of the best qualities of the number of guys that you went out with. Same with guys, if we could date that much. It's like when Nelly was describing his perfect chick. She have hips like Trina, lips like Eve. Like stuff like that. You start to make an amalgamation. And you're hoping that the next person is going to have like, okay, she got the hips, she got the lips, she got the fingertips. Look at them nails. It's like you go into like a very weird place. I mean, nobody is perfect, and you're not going to come, to a stopping point especially when you have infinite options, which women do from a sexual standpoint. So yeah, and you're not really given time to explore any of them when you do that. So I am not. They have good advice. I'm just not a fan of that particular advice. All right, gonna close down in a second here. Let's see. But do you keep going back to that same one? I lost the context of that. All right, let's see. American dating culture is dumb. Yes, and Nigerian movie culture is dumb. So we can agree. We can agree. I could take criticism. You see that? It's just racking up body counts and putting mouths on Becky and Boquisha's vajayjay. Um, yeah, I wouldn't really call that dating culture, but yeah, I agree. It's not conducive to making long-term relationships. Absolutely. Yeah, the problem is that the perfect person doesn't exist, and we don't know how close to perfection we should be trying to get. We don't know how close to perfection that we should be trying to get. And that's not that close to perfection. If you catch my I mean, oh man, I'm losing my focus, but so let's just give it like a percent. And let's just say you meet somebody who is 88% perfect. Now, you don't know if you should be going for 92% perfect, and if you will be able to get that 92%. So especially if you have a large number of infinite dating options, you're going to not accept the 82%. And then there's also that feeling, so you're never going to appreciate it. If you have that, or what I say, 88%, if you have that 88%, are you missing out on that 99% person? So you're not going to appreciate that 88% as much as you should. So it is very difficult. Oh, okay. To the restaurant comment. Got you. North of 80%, you won, by the ring and call it a day. Yes. And I wish that somebody would have told me that, because I was meeting 80 pluses a lot when I was younger. And I'm thinking like, yeah, I could still get that 98, 99. Don't have to be 100, but you know, and that's because it was easy to find that 80. So why not spend a little bit more time looking for that 90? And then that turns into more time and more time and more time, and then there you have it. People find themselves in situations like that. American dating has a tragedy of commons effect. Okay. Like to hear more about that. If one woman offers sex on the first date, okay. We already discussed it. You came here late. It's harder for other women to keep sex in reserves until the third or fourth. Okay. A woman should have something more to offer a man besides sex. A man should not marry a woman for want of sexual access. This created a downward spiral for young women, feeling that they have to offer. So what if they do? I mean, it really doesn't matter. A man should want to marry you regardless of if you have sex with him or not. And more sex and more so. Okay, it's not working like that here. Maybe there was a time when it was, but it's not working like that here. Okay, to the women, do this all the time, thinking that they can always do better. Yeah, and that's the problem that having infinite opportunities is going to do. It's kind of like shopping, for a pair of shoes, which they take forever to do. Imagine if they were shopping for a pair of shoes in the infinity store. They would die looking for shoes because women love shoes and many are stupid. Okay. I would do the same thing. My high school girlfriend was 92, but I took it for granted. Absolutely. It's easy to assume that, hey, there's a 93 out there in college. It took me less than 4 years to find this 92. So, it's easy to do that. It is. You can't really blame a brother or a sister for doing that. And they usually don't have anything else to offer. That's true. I mean, women need to learn how to seduce non-thirsty men, or else problems will persist. At least here in the States. Absolutely. I teach my 11-year-old daughter, okay, a lot, but the loudest message of all is be yourself. Absolutely. Absolutely. I pray, ask, she walks into adulthood, it will save her from the groupthink and the hyena hive mind. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's because society at large is manipulating culture. The government needs to stay out of it, and so do the oligarchs, but they don't because there's so much money in it. They're manipulating culture and, traditional marriage, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And having is not something that is profitable to society. They want women to say stuff like, he needs, basically what society is doing is they're putting pressure on women to spend. And what they're doing, what the women are doing is they are transferring that pressure to the men that they date. They're telling women like, you need this, you need these shoes, you need this bag, you need this. And the main thing seems to be purses. You need these things. And these things are things that they can't afford. So they in turn place that pressure on the men. All to get them stuff. They're being pimped out by Louis Vuitton or Birkin, and they're being pimped out. They're basically saying, listen, if you want this bag, bitch, you better sell that ass, which is what they're doing. And it's a sad state of affairs. So that's the hive mind mentality. It's one thing when the hive was to be a good Christian woman, because that's what the hive was saying back in the day. The Hive isn't saying that anymore. The Hive is saying, you know, be a consumer. And that's what you want to. If your daughter has her own mind, chances are she's not going to fall into this trap of consumerism and be in a Birkenhoe. All right. In traditional societies, daughters are sold for a bride price. I'm aware of this, yes. And since a virgin is guaranteed not to be bearing another man's child, chastity is a selling point. And yeah, and you get to mold them sexually and stuff like that. It is a better deal. Um, Only thing I disagree with the bride price philosophy, culture, that is, and it's a culture I respect. But of course, I'm going to have some disagreements with it, and that is because I've dated Africans, and that is it's elastic. Bride prices are elastic, meaning that if you are a doctor and you marry a young African virgin, a young Yoruba virgin, then your bride price is $30,000. If you are a barrel pusher, and that's an actual job. I can't believe that's an actual job. If you are I don't think it's an American job, but if you are a barrel pusher, then your bride price is a 6-pack of beer for the twin sister of the one that you just spent 30K for. If I was a doctor, I would feel like, hey, wait a minute, you know. So I don't agree with it for that reason. I'm not going to say that reason alone, but I'm going to say I don't agree with it for that reason. I don't agree with that aspect of it. Okay. Pimped out by corporations. Yeah, that's the best way I put it. Yeah. Fathers, to some extent, brothers and mothers may have to protect this valuable resource and keeping their girls chaste. Yeah. The older women in society also have an incentive to regulate the sexual competition from younger women. Um, Whenever you have older women who are single, that's the society, the dating structure is going to be corrupt because, yes, they do have their own nefarious goals in mind. Yep, married men and men in relationships spend more money than single men. Um, it depends. It depends. I would respectfully disagree with that, but it depends on the type of single man. A SYSBM single man, absolutely not. He's not spending money. He's not out there. A single man who is a player, or a single man who aspires to be a player, meaning that he's trying to be a player but he's failed at it. Those guys spend money. Maybe not directly on a woman, but they do spend money. They got to make sure that, ain't nobody dope as me. I'm just so fresh and clean. They have to go, they have to make sure that the platinum chain is shiny. They have to make sure that the shoes is spickety span. They have to make sure that the white tee still have the crease on it from when the store folded. They have, and then throw it away and get another one every day. They have to make sure that the spinners are spinning. They have to make sure that they got 3 times more rooms in the house than they have people in it. They have to make sure that everything is on point. They have to spin. So if you want a dude that makes $10 an hour to buy a $2,200 watch, he's only going to do that if he's single. A married guy who makes $10 an hour, he's focused on securing his future. But I agree to the extent that the SYSBM types or the MGTOW types, they're not going to spend. And I don't spend. I'm not MGTOW or SYSBN, but I'm not going to. I have never spent $100 or more on a pair of shoes ever in my life, nor will I. The only jewelry I wear is gifts from other people. I don't think I ever bought any I know I haven't bought any for myself. Yeah, exactly. They need the car. My car is not flashy. Can I afford a more pussy embraced car? Absolutely. But I'm not, because that's just not me. It's not a reflection of me. So I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, I can afford that Lexus. But am I gonna get it? Fuck no. But there are those who do, and these guys are not married. You see the guys with the over expensive. That's not for married guys. They got Volvos and shit like that for guys like that. They got like SUVs and child safety features and all that crap. That's who they got those guys for. So it does affect spending. Just the fact that you have two people who are paying two rents or two mortgages is benefiting society. If I have an apartment complex, if I owned an apartment complex with 100 units, 50 of them just so happen to be single men and 50 just so happen to be single women, I would lose money if they got together. If they started marrying and living together, then I'm only renting out 50 units. So as long as they're single, I'm making more money. That's how that works. If I was Netflix, it's like, ooh, here, let's just put their picture up so we can, these two people are together, right? They're paying one rent or mortgage. They're paying one Netflix. They're paying one energy bill. Like when they're in the room together and one light is on, one TV is on, they're paying one energy bill for, two people to watch it. They're paying one heating bill, like all of that. They're saving money. Society don't want that. If they were apart, she's living on one side of town, he's living on the other side of town. They're both paying rent. They're both got two Netflixes. They both got two separate medical plans. And I just did taxes. And this is the first time in a long time that I wish I was married. And when I say married, I mean like, because my friend has a housewife that he don't like. He always bitches about marriage, but he got to write her ass off. I don't want to go out looking for ghetto baby mamas with no jobs just so I can have some bastards to write off, which I have done in the long past. But yeah. Yeah, so it is a financial benefit. Society benefits from keeping two people apart. They would benefit from keeping these two people apart. If everybody got married like they did back in the day, then the price of housing would go down because there'll be a lot more empty houses. But now it takes two houses to house two people. Same here. I don't wear jewelry, but that's just me. I like I said, I wear it if it's a gift or a class ring. I lost my class ring. It fell in the toilet when I was wiping my ass. I was maybe like 20 when that happened, and I didn't get another one. My high school class ring, and I didn't get another one. And I didn't get that. I'm not digging in the toilet for my class ring. I was just like, fuck it. But that was jewelry I used to wear. So it has to be like something like that. So I guess I did buy some jewelry for myself, but y'all know what I mean. Like not for flash. All right. So anyway, I would like to thank the cat. Let me check my. Give me a second, y'all. Don't want to miss anybody. All right, see, I would have missed somebody. All right, so yeah, thank you to Nanga. I appreciate the Cash App. Also, I'm gonna say this before I go. Danica Marie sent me $50 yesterday. So when you're a member of her Patreon, which is like $8 a month, she puts you into a raffle, and every month she picks from the raffle. It's once or twice a month she picks from a raffle, and somebody wins $50, and it was my month. So $50 is all mine, thanks to Danica Marie. Appreciate it. All right, so and thank you to Nanga, and thank you to, wasn't it Tim or Tony Miss. Thanks to Cash App and Super Chat. So somebody say movie night. Yeah, I'm gonna do movie night tonight. So stay tuned for that. Right before I was about to go. So Theo, thanks for the 5 gifted membership. So to the people who got it, go ahead and leave a thank you to Theo. Greatly appreciate that. Somebody was asking about movie night. Yes, I'm gonna do a movie night tonight. I'm gonna do it around 2:30 my time. And what's the name of that movie? Let me go to Netflix. It's not a movie; it's a TV series. But Adolescence is what we're going to talk about. So stay tuned for that. It's a good series. It's a British series, and it recently came out on Netflix. And it has a lot of red pill over and undertones in it. Very sophisticated writing. I'm waiting for y'all to say the thank you. I'm not saying no thank yous. Who did it go to? If you wasn't a member before and you're a member now, then thank Theo. It's not showing who got the memberships, but I mean, look to see if you're a member now. Because this isn't one of those channels that don't put stuff on members only. I put my last video on members only. I put stuff on members only all the damn time. I'd say about like 70% of my videos go directly to members only. So this is a gift that he's giving. It's not like you're going to see the same thing. All right, Lewis Johnston. Oh, I didn't even see her in the thing. So Bum got a membership too. D. Scott, yeah. D. Scott. All right, 2 more. Who else got it? Deacon Gross. And Emerald Edge. All right. So y'all are a bunch of ingrates. Not one of y'all said thank you. I'm hoping that y'all away from the computer. I'm hoping, but yeah, y'all ain't right people. Anyway, I gotta go. I gotta get some work done before movie night. And if you want the link to movie night, go ahead and send me an email. I'll put you on the mail list. And yeah, we do it like once every 2 weeks and stuff. So greatly appreciate it. Let's see. Once again, I'll give a thank you on behalf of Lewis Johnston. Let's see. Bum. I can't pronounce the first name. Deacon Gross, Emerald Edge, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Who am I missing? Deacon Gross, Emerald Edge. D. Scott. Thank you on behalf of those 5 people. And this is GameChanger 00100. Game over. Peace.